how you deal with criticism and the inevitable ups and downs of success. You're someone that has got both.
By being empathetic to it being a reality of life. It's inconceivable that you want attention and you're not gonna have judgment in a world that is obsessed with taking things out of context and only headline reading. There's no common sense to that. I don't take it personal. I care about the judgment of the most inner circles that I have, family and friends, employees, inner circles, acquaintances that became friends. Like, I can't be upset if Johnny 97 thinks I'm a dick face because my energy's too much. I'm also empathetic. I know that my alpha competitive, high energy Jersey, like, I know what this is. That's not for everybody. Some people want to zen out. If you want to zen the fuck out, I'm not your guy. And so I'm just too empathetic. I also think it's humility. At the end of the day, I'm like, who the fuck am I? Who gives a fuck? If I die tomorrow, what's gonna happen? I'll get 24 hours of love on social, right? People will be like, oh man, what the fuck? Like, you know, like.
And then a year later, do you remember Garyvee?
100%, and luckily we live in an era where we're more like, all of us are more like the most famous people in the world. Like, we'll live forever. Like, a clip from this, like, do you know how cool it is that do you know how fun it will be? This is insane. Your and my great-great-great-grandchildren will somehow realize, because last names, things will change, but somehow if they became great friends, would somehow family tree it and be like, holy fuck. And they're gonna, hey Jeremiah 794, like, they will literally watch this. Do you know how cool that is? But at the end of the day, how do I handle it? Humility and empathy.
Talk to me about just that immediate emotional reaction. I think that overcoming that is something that a lot of people struggle with.
Well, I think that's right. You know, look, I think
it's nice in the stark contrast with the nice perspective.
Yeah.
And I don't disagree. Price it in as the cost of doing business. Cost of doing business, you put things on the internet, people are going to say mean stuff to you.
Yeah.
And fighting against that is like King Canute trying to stop the tide. But that.
Do you know fighting?
Yes.
Okay. You know some people like getting punched in the face?
Yes, I'm friends with Tim Kennedy, yes.
I like getting punched in the face. That's my answer. I don't know what else to tell you.
Yeah. Nature.
It's my nature. I was shit on my whole life. I was a Russian immigrant. I came over here. Russia was the bad guys when I came here. So I got shit on in grade school. I didn't speak English. This is a story I tell very rarely. Very rarely. I think I've done it once or twice. I'm going there. I often talk about I lived in people that really know me. My story is I went from Queens to Edison, New Jersey. Edison, New Jersey, where I became a Jets fan and an entrepreneur. But it's not fully true. Queens to Dover for a year, then Edison. Dover doesn't make my story. I never understood why, but I'm starting to tap into it. It was fucking bad. Because I didn't speak English and because I went outside a lot, I got picked on a lot. And it was a rough neighborhood. I remember one story, that's the main story I remember of that era, where I saw the kid pee in the Pepsi cup, like by the tree, and they came over and the 7 of them bullied me to drink it. I was 5, I was fucking 5. And I kind of like tried, like if it's very blurry, I mean it's 43 years ago, but like, I didn't speak English. Obviously, when you're an animal, like a human, at 5, you know what's happening. But like, then I was a terrible student. I was D's and F's. And this was the 80s, there was no political correctness. My teachers literally would look me in the face. These are grown-ups, they're your teachers, you look up to them. They're like, you are a loser. You're dumb. You're gonna fail. You're gonna be a garbage man. Then I also love sports. I played sports all the time. Do you know what happens when you play sports? You lose a lot. You win sometimes, but you lose a lot. Video games, this. And then I sold stuff. I did lemonade stands. I would sit on Tingley Lane in Edison, New Jersey as a 9-year-old, and I would watch millions, let me just take a step back. I would see hundreds of cars drop by and not stop for my sign, and occasionally get one. I live life under the mindset of, it's all shit, but it doesn't matter. The shit doesn't matter. It's the fucking sunshine, the occasional sunshines, that is everything. And I think people live the reverse. A little ounce of poopy makes them cry, because they're fucking soft, because they're not fucking hard enough, because they're not loving themselves. I love myself too much to give a fuck about you. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't want to be delusional. I don't want to be fucking living in my own ecos. I respect other opinions. I internalize for processing other opinions, but I have no interest in putting your fucking subjective opinion about me above my opinion above me. That's how I deal with it. I'm very weird when it comes, let me explain what I mean by this. I don't consume, like, let me give you an example. I don't know if I'm betting on her. Nick Dio hit me up with someone yesterday, and I spent I loved it. It's not that I'm betting on her. Let me see if I can fucking find this. She's like an intern, like this. She's got 37 followers on Instagram, or 137. And Dio said, I bet she has 50,000 in a month. And I'm like, you're right. And let me tell you where I'm going with this. I don't go deep on people or influencers or content creators. I go very wide. I'm looking for macro trends and things that I think I can contribute to the conversation in podcasts like this. So for me, I don't actually consume anything. I consume everything. I'm trying to really, the reason I said I'm weird and I'm trying to figure out how I can break this down. 7 years ago I would have answered Mr. Beast. Yet I've never watched a Mr. Beast video in my life. Charli D'Amelio was in my office for her first business meeting. I might have watched one full 8-second dance video of hers to know. I'm going so broad, right? 310 Baby as a rapper of do I think, I'll listen to a song first minute. There's something in the way that because I'm trying to consume everything, it's almost like I don't have the time to go deep enough. And so I'm not great. I'm disappointed, in a weird way, I'm disappointed in myself to not be able to answer your question, because I've seen 50 of them in the last 50 weeks. But I have some form of reading comprehension issues and dyslexia where words are hard for me. So I could tell someone that I saw them in an airport in Dubai and I could tell them we talked about peanuts 13 years ago. And I could have seen their social media 90 times and they could say, what's my name? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess.
I've
got it in my head that you're like a meteorologist, but for social media. You're trying to be the weather report. You're trying to take the
I'm just,
trends,
that's,
what's going.
And I'll see things and I but it's very hard for me to say, especially because I like being historically correct. So I'm not gonna sit here and say I think I can tell you the profile, because this might help a lot of people.
Yeah. What's the kind of person that will succeed over the next few years on social media?
The ones that can get the noise out. The biggest reason people won't win in social media is people don't have the stomach to handle the feedback. People won't have the stomach for the changing winds of day trading. They'll be on a pedestal on TikTok. All these TikTok fuckers, and I say fuckers I'm one of them. The people that are winning on TikTok right now, their day will come. Their day will come where the attention shifts and they won't be ready. And will they be ready after having 4 years of being on to do it again? Do you have the intestinal fortitude to be in perfect, you're in such great shape. If you go through a period of your life for 3 years where you do all the wrong things, and you wake up 3 years later and say, fuck, I'm getting back to this dude. Do you have the fucking strength? Because once the hardest thing is once you were there, when you lose it, to get back, right? If you were making 5 million a year, let's say you were making 40,000 a year, and then you blew up on social, and you had 2 years where you made 3 million a year, but then you're not popping on social anymore. Do you have the strength to go back and put the work in to get back to that place? Do you have the emotional capability to take one step backwards to then take 2 steps forward? Do you have the grit? Do you have the self-esteem? Do you have the ability to deal with the ebb and flow? Think about the people that get trolled. Are you gonna cry and disappear? Or are you gonna be Logan Paul and become a WWE superstar? Do you have the strength to deal with criticism at scale? Do you have the strength to deal with the toe bumps? The biggest reason people aren't entrepreneurs is entrepreneurship is losing constantly with the occasional win. It looks cool, But people don't love eating shit.